Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport, and today we're taking a look at the 1997 Toyota Mark II Tourer V JZX100. So a little bit of a mouthful there, but yeah, the Mark II is a car that has been around for a very long time. In fact, this is part of the 8th generation that was produced between 1996 and the year 2000. The model code for this is the X100, so that's where it gets part of its name from. JZ is part of the name, code name for the engine, and the Tourer V part is the trim level of the vehicle. So yeah, the trim level for this one is the highest of the trim levels for the Mark II from this period, and yeah, and that's because it's not the S version of the Tourer either, which is the lower one to this, but still, yeah, it's a really rather handsome looking car, I feel. It's not particularly flashy, but I like the fact that it's understated in its appearance. I also like the look of the wheels. I like the pillarless doors, as you can see. That's very nice. That's kind of something that Mercedes would do. You've got a decently sized but still rather discreet spoiler, a single exhaust, so no flashy twin exhaust or more on the go there. And yeah, at the end of the day, this is a sports saloon from Japan in all of the right ways. And yeah, one of those is the fact that it has a decent amount of interior space. Now, unfortunately, this game really does not allow you to really properly look at the interior like you can on the, say, Forza Horizon games. So yeah, we are limited in our camera movements for whatever reason, but yeah, you still got plenty of equipment here that you'd expect from a Japanese car in the 90s. So yeah, nice clear dials as well, and yeah, a decent amount of safety equipment either on there as well. And then you've got plenty of legroom at the back, as you can see, and even a decent sized boot. So this car pretty much has everything on the go, quite frankly. It even has a rear wheel drive. Unfortunately though, it's got a 4-speed automatic gearbox, and yeah, that rear spoiler does add a little bit of sportiness to the car. But the main key to this car being as great as it is the engine, and it is a 2.5 litre turbocharged inline-6 engine producing 276 horsepower and 278 pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, Toyota opted for a single turbocharger on this to give it more torque at a lower rev range instead of having two smaller parallel turbochargers. I guess that also saves maybe weight as well, having one turbo over two. It just so happens to be a bigger one. And as you can see, you've also got VVTi engine management on the go there as well to make it more economical. So yeah, overall a pretty decent package, to be honest. It's got plenty of practicality. I like the looks. They're not particularly flashy or sexy or anything like that, but they're not offensive, and neither do I find them overly boring, especially with those pillarless doors and the rear spoiler. I also like the badge that it's got going on here as well. It's not a typical Toyota badge that you'd see over here, say in the UK, so I like that as well. So yeah, overall a pretty solid looking vehicle, but nonetheless, let's get out onto a track and see what this car can do. Right, so we're at Suzuka Full Circuit, so let's hear what this car sounds like first, and then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, on the whole I really like the sound of this engine. It's really a lot more sporty than I was expecting given the automatic gearbox and obviously the quite sizable body that is on the go here. Although, despite being as big as it is, it only weighs 3,263 pounds, and to put that into context, the Tommaso Pantera GT5 that we reviewed also previously, as that is part of the same car pack as this, weighs £5 more, despite this obviously being a much more substantial vehicle. So yeah, it just goes to show that just because the car does have a lot of practicality on the interior and its boot space, and it's still got, you know, a decent sized engine, doesn't necessarily mean it's got to weigh a lot either. So yeah, and because it doesn't weigh all that much, it's yeah, got decent performance for a car with this size engine, and obviously not the most amount of power you can get from a saloon car from this period. So 0 to 60 is dealt with in only 5.883 seconds. 0 to 100 is dealt with in 14.682 seconds, and it will go into a top speed of 159 miles an hour. Also weirdly matching the Pantera that we've already reviewed. So yeah, the 0 to 100 time isn't particularly great, it's a little bit leisurely, but that's just because of how long the gear ratios are because of the automatic gearbox. If they were a lot shorter and were therefore able to make the most of that large turbocharger, it would be a lot quicker than it is, but unfortunately, you know, it's just not. Which is a shame, but you know, I get the feeling that Toyota were trying to go for a middle ground with this car, have it to be sporty in certain areas, but also more than usable on a day-to-day basis in other areas, and the automatic gearbox is the convenience part of this car, I guess you could say. But it's not able to 100% ruin the experience for me as far as I'm concerned, because I like the sound of the engine, the way it handles. It's got a really rather neatly balanced handling characteristics to it. The brakes are fairly good. They're able to bring this car down pretty reasonably, and yeah, it just has a really nice feel to it, I guess you could say, especially when it comes to just taking your time and just enjoying the moment with the car. And that's kind of emphasised by the fact that I've driven this on the Fuji Mikado circuit, which has been added to this game alongside this car with the car pack, and yeah, I just really enjoyed taking my time on that track with this car. Wasn't flooring it. I think the most I got up to it was about 90 or so miles an hour, and yeah, it just really felt different on that track than it does on any other track, to be honest. Now, I haven't taken it on that track with this review purely because it would take more than 10 minutes. Yeah, this video is already long enough as is without going on a track like that, which can take quite some time. But I feel like that track is good for just doing a normal kind of drive more than racing or anything like that. So I might well use that track for another series of no commentary videos where I just drive cars around at a reasonable pace, but not a foot to the floor like going around the Nürburgring or something similar. So yeah, and this car is a perfect car for that track at that kind of pace, to be honest. It really, driving around that Fuji Mikado really does remind me of the opening scene in the Italian Job, in the original, that is, where he's driving around in a Lamborghini Miura, and he's clearly not taking the car to the maximum, he's just driving leisurely up a mountain road, and that's what it felt like being in this car on that circuit. And yeah, this car is good in terms of performance, but it's even better just to enjoy the car for the noise, the driving feel, and just for the pleasure of driving it in general. Because yes, it's capable of going pretty quick around a circuit, and it's pretty reasonable in terms of acceleration and top speed, but it's by no means as good as its contemporaries. You know, you look at like the BMWs from the time, an M5 from that time would wipe the floor with this car. But I'd rather drive this car any day, just because it's far more enjoyable just to drive, rather than, you know, getting a good result at the end of it. So yeah, fantastic car overall, really. And like I said, it is part of the new car pack that is part of the that has been added to the game alongside the Tommaso Pantera GT5, and it's the Forza Motorsport Racing Heroes car pack. I'm not sure why it's called that, given I don't think this car was ever a Racing Heroes in its own right or anything like that, but you know, it is still a fantastic car, even with that title for the DLC not quite making sense, because I don't even consider the Pantera to be what you'd call a racing hero either, but you know, a name is just a name at the end of the day, and all it really matters is the fact that we've got this car added to the game. I don't think we've had a Tourer V or a Tourer or a Mark II before in a previous Forza game, so it's really great to finally have a JDM car that we've never had before that is also a really good one. But then you couple that with a Pantera as well, and yeah, basically that sold the car pack for me, regardless of the other 3 cars that are in there. So yeah, I do highly recommend getting the car pack, but if yeah, if you haven't, then you know, at least try out my Pantera video, see if that car is able to convince you to get it. But if not, then yeah, wait and see for the other 3 cars to make an appearance at some point as well, in another video of what kind, I don't know yet. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.